Can you see the document? What do you see? Saan yan nakita?
Civil code, sir.
Ah, okay. Mana. Can you still see this one? So last time we stopped in. If you recall, last time we talked about the counting, right? It's very important. In fact, your classmate, I want to repeat the same topic, okay, but it's important to know how to count, okay, the number of days, because it's very important in filing of a case. Why? Because these are technical matters which, if the student fails, or lawyer, for example, fails to file it within the reglementary period, then it may be dismissed, and the dismissal may be forever. Okay, you have a given period for you to claim your right, but if you cannot file it within the period counting those days, okay, of course we know how to count, okay, like a number of years, days, months. Those are important. Now we proceed to the last topic, which I um, did not discuss it because one of your classmates make a call on my cell phone, which I really have to answer it. Now we start in Article 16, right, of the Civil Code, okay, which states that the real property as well as the personal property is subject to the law of the country where it is stipulated, or it is situated. So did you check what is the correct word? Is it really stipulated? Because some books normally, if it refers to a place, they put the word they use is, it's not stipulated, but where it is situated. Okay, but anyway, we'll check later on what is the correct word. The language. What is the correct word?
In sir, official gazette, sir, it's situated, sir.
Situated. Yeah, I'm correct. So see, that's the beauty of a professor who reads many books. This is wrong, right? So am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. So here, because I read this book many times, so I cannot be mistaken. Although I just download this one from, I think that was yesterday before I discussed. Okay, but I'm reading several books which I can still recall that the word they use is stipulated, because when it refers to a place, it's not about stipulated. This would be referred to a contract. Okay, refers to a property that is um situated where it is found. That's the meaning of that. So I'm sure. So see, that's the beauty when you also read several books, not just relying on what you read. It may be wrong. Okay, just like now. Okay, all the while I was thinking this is correct, but because of several readings I have, I was able to notice, okay, the mistake. So this may not be reliable, but I can appreciate what are those mistakes um, in this document. Okay, so maybe we will just rely on official gazette, okay, not in other books. But anyway, this already here. I hope that is the only mistake they have. Okay, I am just hoping that is their only mistake. So it is where it is situated, not stipulated. Stipulated is what it is agreed upon, or what it is what it put in the document, that is stipulated. But when it's a real property, where it is situated, okay, where it is found. Okay, now, okay, however, in the second paragraph, intestate and testamentary succession, both with respect to the order of succession, or to the amount of successional rights, and to the intrinsic validity of the testamentary provisions, shall be regulated by the national law of the person whose succession is under consideration, whether may be the nature of the property, and regardless of the country where it is, wherein said property may be found. What does it mean? I explained to you yesterday the meaning of testate and intestate succession. Okay? Sometime when you are confused with the meaning of succession, it's easy to understand it, but it can be remembered in a joke. Okay? You cannot sometimes when a professor asks what is succession, jokingly they would say it's the study of how to success or how to be successful. Okay, that is not the meaning of succession. Succession simply means that the passing of the property of the heir to the heir. Okay, so if you are the person who will die, you're called the decedent. Okay, and your person, the person that the property will be passed to is called the heir. HEIR. So that is what is studied in succession, that the passing of the property to the next generation who will be the first heir, okay, is called succession. Okay. If you die without telling who will succeed as to your property, that is called intestate. You die without a will. You did not if you die without a will, normally or eventually the heir will have in trouble. They will fight. Okay, I don't know why they fight in just a property, because sometimes that will make you rich if you had a property left by your parents. Okay, if you die with a will, you sign a will as to how your property will be distributed. That is called testamentary succession. Okay, so you can write it in your own hand. We call it as holographic will. Okay, signed by you. Of course, if it is not sufficient, because there are, of course, compulsory heirs. The compulsory heirs are those, even if you will not put it in your testamentary will, and in your holographic will, you exclude them. The law does not exclude them. So, meaning that even if you will not put there the names, eventually they will still be entitled to a portion of your year, okay, or property. Now, who are these? Of course, we call it as the compulsory heir. You cannot deprive them, okay? But as to the free portion, because the free portion meaning you can freely dispose a portion of your income to anybody, you can do so, but provided that there is a percentage that will be given to the compulsory heir. Now, with both respect to the order of the succession and to the amount of successional rights and to the intrinsic, what do you mean by intrinsic validity of the testamentary provision? Okay, testamentary mean there's a will as to who should be the person who will inherit from your will. The examination of that is called the intrinsic validity. Like for example, you put the same name, like same name and a family name related to you, as to who is that person that who will succeed in your will. The examination of that is called the intrinsic validity. Okay, intrinsic meaning examining within, the outside, the perhaps the other meaning of the testamentary provision which is not found in the document itself. It's called the extrinsic validity. Extrinsic, outside factors. Now, shall be regulated by the national law. Okay, so what rule shall govern is the national law of the person whose succession is under consideration, or simply means the decedent, the one who owns the property, or the which the property will be distributed. Whatever may be the nature of the property, nature. What do you mean by that? Could be real or personal property. And regardless of the country where the said property may be found. And regardless of the country where it is found. So under the law, the property of a Filipino, for example, even if he is abroad, the governing law will be the Philippine law. Whatever may be nature of the property, okay, regardless of the country where the said property may be found. So remember that. Okay, that is in case of intestate um, or testamentary succession. So you have the leeway as to who will inherit from you as to with regard, okay, with regard, by the way, and the other one as regards. So do not be mistaken. Okay, so it's easy to remember the word as ends with s, and then regards ends also with s. Okay, with regard, so there's no s. So do not interchange. Now, Article 17, the forms and solemnities of contracts, wills, and other public instruments shall be governed by the laws of the country in which they are executed. What does that mean? The forms as to how the forms, okay, the appearance of the contract, who are those who will sign to make it valid. The wills, what do you mean by wills? The wills, the passing of a certain property, the wills, okay? And it's called wills. Remember that this is a new word to you. I know this is new because you're still in the younger years. Okay, wills meaning the passing of property. This refers to a property in succession. We call it a will, holographic will. Okay, it's a will. Okay, meaning who are those persons that may inherit from you? Okay, it could be your girlfriend. Okay, if you love your girlfriend than your wife, may be entitled to it, but only for a certain percent. Okay, but that may be illegal if the wife knows that you give a certain portion to your girlfriend. She may file a divorce as early as now, or he will or she will leave you forever. Okay, so but this may be allowed when because you own the property and you have the option prior to your perpetual disappearance on earth to give wherever you like, provided that you also give a certain portion to your family. And these are called the legal years. But a certain percent of that, of the property which you inherit or you earn, perhaps a reward of your long time labor on earth, a portion to whoever you may wish to give. Okay? So if you have properties there, so think a bit who will receive. If you don't have children, maybe you can donate it to universities. You can do that in a form of a will. Now, the other public instruments shall be governed by the laws of the country in which they are executed. So what will govern is the country in which the country it is executed. It simply means that if the forms there is valid as to how it will be executed, that is also valid in the Philippines. So remember that. Or other public instruments shall be governed by the laws of the country which they are executed. If you execute it in Hong Kong and it's valid there, that will also be valid in the Philippines. Okay? So with the acts referred to are executed before the diplomatic or consular officials of the Republic of the Philippines in a foreign country, the solemnity established by the Philippine laws shall be observed in their execution. Now, but if, for example, you solemnize it in the presence of a diplomat or a, so take note, what happened? Provide. Maybe you don't have, can you still, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and
Yeah,
clear.
yeah, I thought there's a brownout. It's just that the power, my 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 laptop battery is low. So I'm charging it now so I can continue. Now, the so if it is executed in the presence of the diplomat or um, consular officials, okay, the forms that you're going to follow, not in the country, not of the country where you are now, okay, since you make you it is notarized or approved by a consular or diplomatic official in other country, and this this diplomatic and consular official represent the Philippines, the forms that you're going to follow is the Philippine laws. Okay, now another is prohibited laws concerning persons, okay, their acts or property, and those which have their object public order, public policy, good custom shall not be rendered ineffective by laws or judgment promulgated or by determinations or conventions agreed upon in the foreign country. So what does that mean? The prohibitive laws, okay, that will not grant concerning the person, their acts or property, and those which have their object public order, public policy, and good custom shall not be rendered ineffective. So take note of the word here. Do not be confused of the double negative here. What's that? Not be rendered ineffective, meaning it's effective. Okay? So the prohibitive laws, their acts or properties, and those which have their public order, even if it is public against public order or custom, it is not ineffective or judgment promulgated by determinations or conventions agreed upon by foreign country. So it's not at all times ineffective even if it is prohibited. So take note of that. Okay. So this is very confusing. Okay, prohibitive laws concerning persons, their acts or properties, and those which have their object, public order, public policy, or good custom shall not be rendered ineffective by laws or judgment. So meaning if it's valid in other country, it's also valid in the Philippines. Okay, even if it is prohibited in the Philippines, as long as it is valid abroad, that is also valid in the Philippines. Now, Section Article 18, in matters that are governed by the Code of Commerce or special laws, their deficiency shall be supplied by the provisions of the code. It simply means that in the absence of the law, or if the law is not sufficient, it will be supplied by the civil code. So the Code of Commerce, which governs the transactions of the merchant, for example, if the law is not sufficient, or their other special laws are not sufficient to understand comprehensively what it means, then that supplementing law is the civil code. Okay? So this is the meaning of that. In matters governed by Code of Commerce and special laws, their deficiency refers to special laws and Code of Commerce if it's not sufficient to address a certain problem, then the Civil Code of the Philippines will apply. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, the law are not really comprehensive. Okay, it will not cover all. Okay, because in fact there are many cases because the law is not really clear. In fact, really there are acts which are not even punished. There's no corresponding law to punish it. So in case the act is not covered by the code of commerce or special law, then the civil code will apply. That is the introduction. We go to chapter 2. This is very important. Okay. This is your guide to make you a better student. We call it as the human relation. Okay. Or in fact, this is very important because if the provisions will not give you a specific answer as to how it will be resolved, conflict, how it will be resolved, then you go to this chapter, human relation. Okay, so important. Article 19. Every person must, in the exercise of his rights, okay, and in the performance of his duties, act with justice. Give everyone his due and observe honesty and good faith. So I give you time to memorize it. Put it in your cerebellum, in the inner cortex of your brain. Put it there. Retrieve it when necessary so that you will not forget. Okay? Every person must, in the exercise of his rights and performance of his duties, act with justice, give everyone his due, and observe honesty and good faith. That's it. If you memorize that, apply it, the Philippines will become a peaceful country. Okay? So what is it? Can you utter it in chorus? Now, what? Do you have it? Do you have it there? Are you following or are you just listening to my lecture? Do you have the copy of that? Can you see it? Am I still around? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. We can see the file, sir.
Okay. Oh, read. Oh, well, the one who is talking, maybe you have the copy. Can you read it for your classmates?
Which part, sir?
The last article I read.
Go on. Sir, I'm just using my phone. I cannot clearly see the
Who
words.
is using a laptop or somebody who is following my discussion? Can you view it as well? Anybody? Wala.
Read, sir.
Oh, yeah, you read.
Hey, I will read the answer for in behalf of everybody.
Okay.
Article 19. Every person must, in the exercise of his rights and in the performance of his duties, act with justice, give everyone his due, and observe honesty and good faith.
Okay, so that's very important. So do not forget that. Okay? So give everyone exercise of his rights. You may have the right? But you have to exercise it with justice, honesty, good faith. Okay? For example, you have the right to your house, to your property, but in the exercise thereof you may deprive others of their also right to to find a place where they can where they can find a new house. For example, you have a property, okay? All of a sudden, although you have the right, you ask them to vacate immediately, okay? Without due process. You maybe have the right, but it may not it is not done with justice. Okay, give everyone his due, observe honesty and good faith. What is good faith? Okay, you have to be honest and exercise good faith when you are not insidious. Okay, so insidious. When you become older, like our age, we're tired of it. Okay, you know, of course, some of you are watching teleserie. Okay, the reason why I do not want to watch it because the actress there are so insidious. If they want to have the position, they do everything without the knowledge of the other. But all the while, your end goal there is to get what you want. Okay, that is called insidious. That is an opposite of good faith. Okay, good faith meaning you just do because it is what is ought to be done. Okay, good faith. The other one, yes, the opposite, which I already explained, it's the insidious. You have the ulterior motive. Okay, you do all the strategy just to get what you want, but the strategy is not really good. Okay, I don't know if you've been watching the kanang mga teleserye like A Provinciano, right? I think the woman there is so insidious that the person doesn't even know that what she's doing. That is insidious. Okay, you have other motives. Did you get it, Ibanez?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So I just checking if you are around. Sorry, I will not ask you anymore. Okay, I'll just sometimes I feel talking to to the computer and without even thinking that there are people listening to me. Okay, so because if people can see me, they may say I'm crazy talking to the laptop. They just do not realize they have so many people here listening to me. Now let's proceed. That will not help you. The one I'm talking a while ago will not help you. This one will help you. Article 20. Every person who, contrary to law, willfully or negligently causes damage to another shall indemnify the latter for the same. For the same. So every person who, contrary to law, okay, against the law, willfully, willfully. What did I willfully? He intended it, or without knowing it, that is called negligently cause damage to another. Okay, you intend, that is willful. You intend to cause damage, or because of your negligence, you did not foresee what will happen. You lack foresight. What's that sound? You lack foresight of what will happen next. Okay, causing damage to another shall indemnify the latter for the same. Okay, so that is the cause of um, claim for indemnity. Okay, so every person who contrary to law, like you kill, okay, the victim will be paid, okay, even if you did not intend. Rather, that is negligently you cause damage to another, you have to pay for the same. Okay, of how much? As to the latest calculation, for the life of every human being is only 50,000. Do you have 50,000? You can kill. No, I'm just joking. That is not what I meant. You will be charged with murder just in case. If it happened, the court will only allow for the reward of 50,000 for the life of somebody. Aside from the crime that you committed, you have to pay as well as in a form of indemnity. Okay, the damage you caused to the victim. The victim may be dead, but the family may recover a certain amount from the loss. But that would also depend on the profession, the life expectancy, But as to the damage itself of a certain loss, okay, it's 50,000. Now, Article 21, any person who willfully causes loss or injury to another in the manner that is contrary to morals, good customs, okay, public policy shall compensate the latter for the damage. So, example, you take note, you can claim for damages actually, even if it's not a crime. But as long as you cause damage contrary to morals, okay, good customs, and public policy, you have to pay the person that you caused the damage, to him. Example of this, okay, the common example is the case of, men normally offer a promise to the woman, especially this coming Sunday. Okay, what is this coming Sunday? What is that event? What is that event? Is it an event? What do you commemorate? Revolution? What? Anybody?
Valentine's Day, sir.
Ah, okay. It's good that you remember. We will not forget that, especially if you're single. Okay. For married, like to some of you, will normally forget it. Okay, but to single, that is a big day. It's a D-Day in Normandy. Is it in Normandy or France? They call it the greatest day. It was the invasion of Europe, right? D-Day, the greatest day. For example, a man promised to marry a woman. Of course, the woman waited so long for you to say it that you're going to marry her. Okay? Proposed to you on the Valentine's Day. Okay? So the man promised. Okay? As a promise, the woman give everything. And you know what I mean. She gave everything. And there was now a wedding. Scheduled. The president is invited. The president of the Philippines is invited. The governor is also invited. All of the people are invited. The priest is already there waiting for you. But you did not come on that exact day of the wedding ceremony. Can you be held liable? Anybody?
Yes, sir. Double.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Liable. Okay. Take note here. The acts, person who willfully causes loss or injury to another in a manner that is contrary to morals, good customs, public policy, shall compensate the latter for damages. So what is that? It may not be criminal in nature, you will not be in prison, but you have to pay. Of how much? For example, if it's the wife who the future wife about to be, because of her excitement, the wedding is a grand wedding supposedly, but you did not come. You think although that you are the most precious man on earth, you did not come on that day, so you will be liable for anything that the woman caused. Example, one of that is the fair, right? The fair, the reception of how many lechon were prepared, then you have to pay for that. How about the promise? How about the that she gave, her virginity that she gave, will that be counted as part of the damages? Yes or no? What's your answer? For women, before I ask the men, I'm going to have a defensive answer. What is your answer? Oh, napabudya. Take note of test ko karon. I'll give you tests every now and then. Anybody from the women's side, women's sector? before I ask the underrepresented, the men sector. Oh, unsa may answer? What's your answer? Anybody? Wala. Volunteer. I'll give you 5 points in our first test or
Yes,
in our
sir.
exercise. Who is that talking? That's it. I will not give you a point. You will not. Oh my goodness. That. Yeah, I'm joking. So who will talk first? Yes. Your answer is yes. Why?
It depends on the women, sir, because for me, sir, yes, because
Who
like
is talking?
reason, sir,
Ha? See?
reason.
Oh, asa ka region? Taga sa ka region gani?
Taga Mandawi, sir.
Nawiri ka. Siling nga na to. So go ahead. Proceed.
Sir, for me, sir, it's a loss, sir. If kanang hatag na nimo imuhang pagkababay because it's a purity that you keep for how many years? It's a purity that you keep for long, and I think, sir, kanang in, to some context, sir, it's a loss, sir, if nakuha na dyan, sir, niya. Kay, it's the purity that you keep nga, dugay na nimo gikeep nga. Nanana lang, sir. So, it's a loss, sir. Dapat jud, sir, the the man will take responsibility of what he did to the woman.
Okay, sige. Thank you for that because this is okay. So okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So the basis again is here, huh? Well, I don't know with the men if they have a violent reaction. Okay. Should I ask or what? Should I just proceed?
Actually,
Would you
sir,
like to? Sige. What's your side, baby? I have a
actually,
different side.
ni favor ko ni Kuan Miss Reason, sir. Kaya I can say that virginity will be included as part sa moral. Makonsider siya as moral damages, especially if known to public nga na naginahitabo ba on marriage. And also, yeah, based on the Article 21, it's kinda contrary gid sa morals gid, sir, especially if dili gid madayon ang kasal.
Okay. So yeah, I'll take note of that family name.
Sir,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who is that talking?
it's
Si
Denise Limas.
Malimas. Okay, Malimas.
Sir, I have a contrary belief because I believe that women should not be incorporated according to their virginity. That is a sensitive topic, yes, but they should not depend on that worth alone. What I think is that um the procreation itself is a liability. The offspring itself is the responsibility and not the act.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good. Very good argument. See, you have so many things to say, but you know, it is enough to understand the concept of that. Okay. So just for now, it's enough that you have a deeper understanding now of what I'm talking about. Okay, about this Article 21, every person willfully causes loss or injury to another in a manner that is contrary to morals, okay, good customs, public policy shall compensate the latter for damages. You have to really pay. Okay? But in that case, I do not think a woman, I don't know if you are brave enough to claim that their virginity was lost. Okay? But I would say it's a courage of a woman to say it. Okay? Normally in court, we will grant your request. Why? Because no woman in general would claim that if it is not really true. Okay, because of course the ridicule will happen to you if you will not do that. But taking the risk of saying it to anybody to claim your right to damage, then it is true. After all, when you do that, it's between your claim and the man's claim. Okay, it's between your word and his word, and who have you who because there's no other witness. Unlike you invite somebody to watch Okay, but that will not happen. So it's between your word and the others, the other.
Sir? Are you still on the line, sir?
Yes.
Word. So normally the court will listen to the victim, to the woman.
O ang
Buyers.
Ibiyas. Sir, ano makig-raise nga hand sa'yo, ah? What is that for?
Ikaw to ba, Jerome?
Dili, eh.
Palihog na lang kog tubag sa question, Jerome, na sa comment.
Please hold. matulog. Imong nalungan.
Good morning.
Hello, am I still around?
Yes, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Hola, where did I stop?
Sa Article 21, sir.
My God. Anyway, although I end up already in 26, very difficult to explain, but I was thinking that I was on air. My
Mm,
goodness. Yeah, 21?
yes, sir.
Okay. So, my goodness. Anyway, I'll ask you a question, okay, for in 21. I'll just pause it here so that you're going to answer this one up to, I'll set a deadline, maybe Sunday. Can you make it? Okay, you have, this will serve as your attendance and by discussion. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question later on here in the in the Google Classroom, and then you answer it. Okay, so I'll end it now. I'm going to pause the question. 21. Mm. So I'll end and then you just read and answer the question that I'm going to pose in the Google Classroom.
Noted, sir. Bye, everyone.